Hello and welcome to the Dynamic Table Tennis Tip of the Week. My name is Brian Pace. This week's episode comes by way of a Dynamic Table Tennis customer. The customer, Arthur and Akiko Dunn had made a purchase of competition table tennis training, and I got an email back after saying they were a little bit disappointed with the DVD, and it didn't specifically show how to set up forehand attacks. And for some of the questions that he had, I've already answered in the table tennis troubleshooting series about racket angle, and in another question about timing the ball, I've already answered that question in the DTT Tip of the Week episode number 1. But he did have a specific question about setting up the forehand attack. And for these DVDs, what I'm trying to do is give an encyclopedia of information on how to develop the shots, not something so specific that if a person were to buy the DVD, they would look at that and say, that's not me. You know, if you're looking at trying to help a person build a house, you ask a person to look at a blueprint and not a particular blueprint that's on the beach or a blueprint that's in the city that's a brownstone. You try to say, this is what development is. And for competition table tennis training, the DVD focuses on taking you through the process of creating a peak performance period to where you're absolutely playing your best. So something like help me set up a forehand attack and the right foot position. To get deeper into that, let's actually head out to the table.
Now, every player has a set point for their attacks, and that means that the amount of spin that's put on the ball can't exceed the amount of spin that you put on the loop. And if that's the case, you're going to create a point of diminishing returns, which means the spin on the push is too much for the loop. So let's look at your loop in terms of weight versus lift. Let's say your loop maxes out at 40 pounds of lift. Means your loop can lift 40 pounds. That means your serve can't be near 40 pounds of weight. Let's say, for example, your serve is 35 pounds of weight, and your opponent pushes the ball and he adds approximately 20 pounds of weight to it by counteracting your spin and adding more. Now your loop that deals with 40 pounds of lift has a deficit of 15 pounds. So most of those pushes are going to go in the net. Now, I'll take information from the last local tournament that I played, and I profiled 2 different players that play 2 completely different ways with regards to weight versus lift. Richard doesn't like to serve a lot of underspin for his setups. He likes to serve side spin. He prefers the ball to pop up. He has more of a driving loop that's not based in a lot of lift. And the times that he puts underspin on the ball, you'll see that his attacks are almost always out of place. So it's important when you're serving to set up an attack, you don't want to serve yourself into trouble. Now, Vinay, another local player, is a little bit more brazen about his approach. He likes to serve the ball fast and deep to get right into exchanges immediately. And this can catch you off guard if you're not prepared for a person that just wants to play fast topspin shots first. But what you can be sure of, if a player is approaching you in this way, they're not good lifting heavy underspin. So any chance you get to put heavy underspin on your serve or put heavy underspin on your serve return, you're going to most likely get a miss from the serve, or you're going to get a counter loop from your serve return. With regards to setups, you basically want to have 3 types of attacks. And the first one is the attack from the heavy underspin ball. And this allows you leverage to serve the ball heavy and low. And when your opponent pushes, you can make a high spin attack. You also want to have the attack that allows you to serve some type of side spin so that when your opponent flips the ball, you can make a driving attack. You also want to have the type of attack that you can do from making a no spin serve and your opponent pushing the ball high, and you can reach in over the table and drive that ball. This will allow you to use the full range of your loop to get the most out of your attacks. Now, Akiko, you did ask me a question about foot position, and this is one of the most misunderstood and overlooked aspects of attacking. Akiko, wrap your head around this. Your loop is only as good as your position, and that means if you don't get your right foot down when you make an attack, if you don't get your right foot down when you make an attack, your loop won't have all the power it can generate. If you ever feel like your loop is lacking the power and control that you want, your right foot is not lined up with the ball. And the way to center this is to make sure that if you are moving to your right, assuming you're a right-handed player, to make an attack, make the left foot step wider so that you can get your right foot down with the ball. Same here. If you're making a pivot, make sure the right foot is down with the ball. So let's play it right down the center. If this is the ball, look at my right foot and look at my racket. This is the perfect symmetry of your racket, your knee, and the ball so that you can get the most power and control out of your loop with little to no effort. The whole premise of this video was how do you set up your forehand loop. I have a specific DVD for that, and that's called Forehand Loop Training for Table Tennis, where it's 2 hours and 44 minutes of just focusing on the forehand loop. Where to play it from, where to play it to, how to set up an attack, how to third ball, how to counterattack, how to move the ball away. So if you're specifically looking for how to set up the forehand loop training for table tennis is something that you want to purchase. And if you're having a problem troubleshooting what you need to do, then you need table tennis troubleshooting. So if any of you players around the world, I get so many questions, and now I'm going to start trying to update once a week and answer a question for you guys in the form of video. So if you have a question that's specific to attacking, serve return strategy, send me a message, and I'll answer your question in the video. I just need to get your name, where you're from, and preferably a picture. I'll put a picture of you up. Next episode, Akiko still has more questions, so he wants to know about how to set up the backhand loop. My name is Brian Pace, and I'll see you on the table.